All right, Algebra 1 students, we're going to go over Unit 4.2 in your packet. Make sure you write your name first because you're going to turn this in for points. Now, we are going to, this is a review for you guys. This is something that we looked at in Math 8 quite a bit. The thing here to remember is that we're looking at slope-intercept form. That's what all this is talking about. I've got y equals mx plus b. We have it written over here, but I'd like you to write it once again, where m is the slope and b represents the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when x is 0. That is our y-intercept. X is 0, my y-intercept. That's what's happening when the line crosses the y-axis. So what we're going to do here first is we're going to take these lines. These should all have arrows on them. And we are going to write them in slope-intercept form. What I look for first is I try to see where the line is crossing the y-axis. Right here, it's at 0, 1, which means that my y-intercept is 1. When x is 0, y is 1, and so that's my y-intercept. So if I'm going to write this in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, the b value is positive 1. And then I'm going to put my x there. I've got y equals there. Now I need to find my slope. Remember, slope is change in y over change in x. So I'm going to take this, I see this dot here, or point here, I see another point here, I just find some easy points, and then I say, I go to the right one and down 2, plus 1 to the right, negative 2, down 2. My up and down, my change in y goes on the top, that's negative 2, and my change in x, left and right, that goes on the bottom, that's 1. Negative 2 divided by 1 is negative 2. So that is this line written as an equation. Let's go ahead and we'll do this one together. Again, I've got my y-intercept here. When x is 0, y is 3. I'm going to rewrite this in slope-intercept form. My y-intercept is 3, as we just said. And my slope is going to be, let's see, there's another point right there, another point back there. I go down 1, to the right 1, 2, 3, plus 3. So that means I put my negative 1 on top because that's the up and down. The change in y goes on top and the change in x goes on the bottom. Negative 1/3 is my slope. Notice how from left to right, if you read these lines, it's negative, it's going down. So my slope needs to be negative. Same with this guy, my slope needs to be negative because it's going down. This one here that you're about to do on your own, notice this one from left to right is going up. So you should have a positive slope. Go ahead and do this one on your own, pause the video, and then we'll look at it together. Go. Okay, let's see how you did. Hopefully you paused. Y equals mx plus b is our target. This line crosses the y-axis at negative 3. When x is 0, y is 3. So if I were to write a point there, it would be 0, negative 3. And my slope is going to be, I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 1, plus 4, plus 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right, yep. Okay, so up 4, that means I put that on the top, and then to the right 1, put that on the bottom. My slope is 4, y equals 4x minus 3. Notice my slope is not 4x. My slope is the number that's out in front of the x, not 4x. The x is not part of the slope. Okay. Now we're going to do these guys down here. Write the slope-intercept equation of the line from the table. So remember, slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. Oops, there we go. Y equals mx plus b. Now I want my slope and I want my y-intercept. Those are the two things that I'm missing. So I could start this by saying y equals something x, and then I'm just going to leave whatever my b is, because it might end up being minus b, right? So now I know these are lines, so I can see here from -2 to 0, that's +2. From -7 to -1, that's +6. And I can check to see if these are all proportional here. I go up 1, and then from -1 to 3, I go up 3. And I can already see 6 divided by 2 is 3, 3 divided by 1 is 3. Okay, I feel good about that. Remember, the change in y goes on top. So if I was going to take this slope right here, my change in y is this 6. My change in x is this +2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my slope is 3. Now my y-intercept is right here. Remember, when x is 0, I've got my y-intercept. So -1, that's my y-intercept. There are other ways to find the y-intercept. But for this lesson, we're not going to look at those, I don't think. Here for number 5, remember our target, y equals mx plus b. Let's find the slope. I'm going to go +1 here, and I'm going to go +2 here. From -1 to 0 is +1. From 0 to 2 is +2. Let's just check to make sure I've done that right. Let's see if this one is the same. 2 to 6 is 3. 0 to 2 is +2. Oh, sorry, this isn't 3, this is 4. Silly Mr. B. Okay, change in y over change in x. 2 divided by 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. We can check this one. This is another +4, and this is another +2. Okay, 4 divided by 2. Change in y on the top, change in x on the bottom. So I've got 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Y equals 2, there's my slope, times x. Now I need my y-intercept. I can just check where x is 0, it's right here. My y-intercept is 2. There's my slope-intercept form. You try this one, pause the video, see if you can find your y-intercept, your slope-intercept form, and check back once you're done. Okay, I've got +2 here for my x, I've got +3, I've got +1. For my change in x, for change in y, I've got -8, and I've got -12, and I've got -4. Okay. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and that'll be negative. -12 divided by 3 is -4. -4 divided by 1, -4. So I've got -4 over 1. That's my change in y. Change in x. -4 is my slope. Y equals -4x, and then my y-intercept is right here. When x is 0, y, whatever y is, that's my y-intercept. And so that's 3. 0, 3 is that point right there. All right, I was just about to ask if there were any questions, but you don't get to ask me questions when you're so far away. Okay, now we're going to write these equations using these words. Joey had started with 13 donuts. Anytime it says started with, you can be pretty sure that that's going to be your y-intercept or your b value. He's been eating 2 donuts every minute. So here's my rate, 2 donuts every minute. That's my slope. So that means that, let's see, that's my slope right there. So I'm going to have y equals 2 donuts every minute, which would be 2 over 1. We don't need to write the 1. 2 donuts plus b, which is my 13. Remember, my goal is y equals mx plus b. Put my slope right there, which is 2 donuts every minute, and my b value is 13. That's what we started with. Louise's family started 80 miles from home. Notice the started. Think B here. And is traveling home at a rate of 32 miles per hour. So I've got 32 miles per hour. Y equals, now this one, you could say -80 because it's 80 away, miles away. It's just traveling home, so when you get to 0, then you'd be home. But there's kind of different ways you could interpret this. Anyway, the speed is 32 miles per hour, so that's 32 times x. And she's 80 miles away. I'm going to say minus 80 because when she gets home, she'll be at 0. So she's got to, they've got to drive 80 miles. And once that 80 miles is all driven, then they will be at 0. So that's what I'll do that. Okay, that one looks good. Juan started with 45 online friends, there it is again. But 3 days later, he only had 36. So he starts with 45. So that's going to be my y-intercept. And we'll say that's plus. And then I'm going to multiply my slope by x. And I just got to figure out what my slope is. He started with 45. And then 3 days later, he only had 36. So I'm going to subtract these two guys. 45 divided by, minus 36 is 9. And it took 9, for him to lose 9 friends, it took 3 days. So 9 friends over 3 days. Let's divide these two. Let's simplify this fraction. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 3 friends per day. He's going to lose 3 friends per day. So let's say that's negative because it's going down. He's losing 3 friends per day. So that's what that one should look like. Okay, a couple more. Here we go. Graph. Oh, we've got some special cases. 0 and undefined. We looked at that the last time we met. So here I have this line that is y equals 2. Here's my table. See all those 2's? Y equals 2. No matter what x is, y is going to be 2. Now, this would be something like, notice that my slope doesn't go up or down. It just is straight, so it's 0. So we could say this is y equals 0x plus 2. There's my values for my y-intercept for y. 0 times x is 0, so I'm just left with y equals 2. So this is how you would write this. Now, I started with 2 pets. 3 years later, I have 2 pets. So it doesn't matter how much time goes by, I still have 2 pets. Y equals 2. That works pretty well for words there. Let's look at this other one here. This is the undefined slope. I'm going to put my arrows on here. And this is x equals 2. Here I've got all my x's that equal 2. It doesn't matter what y is, I'm still going to have x equals 2. This case, let's look at the words here. 2 days, in 2 days, I will have $4 in my piggy bank. At the same time, I will have no money in my piggy bank. See how this doesn't really make any sense? That's because if I take my slope here, I'm going to end up with some number on the top, which is, I have change in y. So let's say that's my change in y here is 7, right? Plus 7. Over my change in x, which is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. So whenever I have 0 in the denominator, this is undefined. And that's why this is undefined, because you've got 0 for your x and something for y. Up here, you had 0 for y, 2 minus 2 is 0, change in y on the top, and then you could have negative 2 to 0 is 2. So your slope is 0 over 2, or over whatever, 1, 5, whatever, doesn't matter. You got 0 on the top. That's how you get 0 as your slope. And that is 4.2. Have a good day.